Hi, I'm Chris Roselli.
And I'm Al Dowling. Welcome to Western Window, the show made for you by students at Western Washington University.
This time on Western Window, we'll find out more about Western's Campus Equity and Inclusion Training Series. We'll chat with two students who are breaking gender stereotypes, and we'll watch as grade schoolers and middle schoolers build robotically operated underwater submersibles.
We'll visit a career fair to get some job hunting tips, and we'll hear more about resilience in the face of natural disasters. So stay with us as we explore our world through Western Window. Natural disasters can be devastating, destroying homes and schools, and leaving people without sanitation, food, or shelter. During his 22 years as a disaster researcher, WWU professor Dr. David Sattler has traveled to many locations around the world, learning about the mental health of people living in the aftermath of a calamity. And his findings might surprise you.
Hi, I'm here with Dr. David Sattler, who is a professor in the psychology department here at Western. He's been here since the year of 2000. David, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming to the studio.
Thank you.
So, rumor has it you do a lot of travel for a living, even though you're a professor right here at Western.
That's true. So since 2000, we've been embarking on a really important research program, traveling around the world, going to sites of natural disasters. Wow. So we've been to the Philippines and Thailand, Indonesia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, looking at how people respond to disasters that threaten their communities, threaten their lives.
Okay, so you just gave me a list of places I should not move to?
Well,
or is it
just like Bellingham, Washington, which is at risk of tsunami and earthquake,
Sure.
primarily earthquake and volcanic eruption. All around the world there are natural disasters, and we have been looking at how people respond. So what kind of needs do people have? How can we help them out? We've looked at mental health reactions. We've looked at how people cope and the social support that they receive, as well as post-traumatic growth and resilience. And what's been fascinating is to see all around the world, all these different countries, how in the aftermath of a disaster, the way that people pull together as a community. We need each other. We need each other to help. We like to help each other when others need help.
Right.
And we have documented those types of processes, and part of that, we've also looked at what we can do to help.
Sure. So a natural disaster comes in. I mean, we're talking big natural disasters, the ones that make all of our world news. What would be an example of some of the work that you've done, one specifically?
So recently, Super Typhoon Haiyan, it's like a hurricane, rammed into the Philippines. You could talk about the Indian Ocean tsunami, which was generated by a very powerful earthquake off the coast of Indonesia. And it generated a tsunami that went across the Indian Ocean 550 miles an hour. It travels through the ocean. So the time that it travels from the epicenter to make landfall can be very, very short. So off of Indonesia, it took about an hour or so until it made landfall. So the amount of time that you have to warn people to evacuate is very, very minimal.
Yeah.
It took just a few hours for it to travel up to Thailand. And so 12 countries around the Indian Ocean were struck by this devastating tsunami. Over 250,000 people lost their lives, and about 2 million people were homeless instantly as a result of this tsunami. Very, very devastating events.
Wow. So you have a unique experience in that these horrible travesties happen. You fly in and you see what you're seeing. I mean, it has to have changed you, or what can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's an important question.
Yeah.
I think most people who go into disaster sites have to learn of ways to cope as well with what hardships they're seeing. And absolutely, we've had to do that. And I take a lot of satisfaction really in seeing how communities pull together when you see the hardships that they're dealing with. And part of the processes that we've actually assessed with our surveys, looking at how people reflect on what's important in their life, what's meaningful in life. Now that you've lost your home, it shifts.
Yeah.
Your schools are destroyed or damaged. Your local gas station and stores are wiped out. Yeah. It brings you back to the core of what's important in life. And to see people consider those issues and reflect on those issues, and in so doing find a way to move forward and to recover and to come out of that experience in a positive, good way, helps you learn about what's important in life as well.
I bet.
And so you bet that we reflect on our own lives. And
Well, our president, Bruce Shepard, always says, our slogan is active minds changing lives.
Yes.
And I think so much of the work that you're doing within the psych program, and especially in your case, taking students to these places where they're getting this incredible experience and then being able to do research on topics that are really relevant to so many people's lives is really inspiring. So
it's wonderful to work with students, to have them co-author papers that are published in peer-reviewed journals.
Are these all undergrads or
these are
both?
Undergrad and graduate students.
Wow,
to be co-authors on paper presentations at conferences. It's incredible opportunities for them.
That's great. So I understand that you put together a video that helps educate the students in Thailand about the effects of earthquakes.
Absolutely. You know, dozens of schools were located along the coastline where the tsunami struck, and they needed this information. But only the kids who were in the local villages near the tsunami museum could come to the museum and learn about the tsunami threat and learn how the community responded.
Sure.
So we went back home to Bellingham after one of these trips, and we said, how could we disseminate the information? How could we get the word out? We wrote a script, and we had the script translated into Thai. We had a cast and crew of kids and an adult in Thailand, and Joey is an incredible videographer and hired elephants and took elephant rides. And what was really important is to make a video that didn't scare the children, because they had been through a very traumatic experience, and I did not want that video to re-traumatize them.
Right.
And so we had to create the video and present the information in such a way that was approachable. So the elephants relaxed the scene. Elephants are revered in Thailand. And so to have the children riding the elephants and talking about a tsunami threat or what to do in response to a tsunami on the back of an elephant made it more relaxed and enjoyable for the children.
David Sattler, Western professor in psychology here at Western Washington University since 2000. Thanks again.
Thank you.
What can students in grades 5 through 7 accomplish in their after-school hours? Well, would you believe build robotic underwater submersibles from the ground up? This Western Washington University Extended Education program proves that there's no limit to what young minds can accomplish when given a challenge, a few materials, and the right kind of encouragement.
Put it in the water. That's what it's for, man. This is your deployment day. Dive that thing. These kids have been working all week to build hydrophones. They started out with some pieces of PVC and some bilge pump motors and some propellers, and they have compiled it into functional underwater robots that they are deploying for the first time in the actual bay today. So are you excited about that? I'm very excited about this.
Pretty exciting.
It's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited because they're actually working.
Right.
So that's a big deal. We've got sound. They've built hydrophones from scratch. So they started out with piezoelectric elements and wired them to microphone cords and have plugged those into speakers, and they're hearing sound underwater. So, pretty cool. The whole focus has been on sensors, and so we've talked about different different parameters in the ocean they want to be able to measure. Why would oceanographers be interested in different things in the ocean, and then what they can measure. So they're interested in the temperature, they're interested in the pressure, they're interested in the salinity, the pH. some kids are really interested and they want to know about the acidification that's going on, which is a big focus at the lab. So that was pretty neat.
You're listening to what's happening underwater. There's a hydrophone attached to the back that captures the noise and puts it into those speakers so we can listen.
We're trying to get the information out that oceans are important, and our environment and the way that we take care of ourselves on a grand scale, on a planetary scale, is important, and we all have a role to play in that. And we start that with not just the undergraduate education, but we also do it through extended ed. Extended ed programs are teaching young children a variety of things like this ROV camp that's going on. They've had other programs that are more organism focused. And in all of those cases, the real intent there is to get hands-on learning for the kids so that they pay attention to the environment and so that we can take care of our planet.
They're aware of a lot of the marine issues that are going on, and they're wanting to test that out, and they get to actually do that with real ROVs that they've put together themselves. So pretty cool.
We want to help the environment. It's like it feels like there's more and more pollution every day. So we want to find out just how bad the problem is.
We have a camera on it and we're measuring to see if there's more fish in the water or if there's more trash in the water. And so if there is more trash in the water, we want to be able to, help the environment.
To see these guys interested in
you can take it out.
science applied
Well, I think I saw a
to
fish.
the real world. So
Yep, it works.
this is exciting to me. This is exciting. That is why I'm doing this. I get to see these kids who have this understanding at a really young age of applied science, and that they have this knowledge that they have some power to go into the world and study the sea and actually make a difference.
I'm gonna drive the boat.
We're not going to be driving the boat.
You thought we were.
Seeing the kids light up, seeing a kid's face when they first see a starfish, and they start to make that connection with the environment. That's why I'm here.
It's Career Fair Day. Never been to a career fair? For Western students, it's the opportunity to meet local, regional, and international employers, search for career-focused internships and jobs, to network, and to make connections. For employers, it's the chance to meet hundreds of highly motivated and qualified candidates and expand their recruiting networks. It's also a place where you can find lots of good job hunting advice.
A career fair is an opportunity for our students to connect with employers, to inquire about internship opportunities, career opportunities for after graduation, and to get advice on their academic planning.
Yeah, I mean, what you're going to find is it takes a lot to put yourself through school. I'm a Western grad myself, and honestly, how I've always looked at it, no matter what your concentration or major may be, if you can put yourself through this, you can easily get through our training and learn our industry.
We're recruiting for customer service and sales representatives. We're looking for people who are motivated, interested, some young talent.
I think students have a wonderful array of things available to them. We do a kind of large career fairs once a quarter. There's one in the fall that has kind of a business focus. In addition to that, we do a law school info fair in the fall, an internship fair in the fall. In the winter quarter, an international opportunities fair. The design is to have a broad array of events so that there's something for everybody in every major.
So this is like the first year of the Arts and Entertainment Career Fair. It's kind of experimental. And hopefully next year it can even expand even more with more time for planning and stuff like that. At any level, a student can find something here to do, whether it's interning, maybe finding a job opportunity, or an internship with someplace really cool that could maybe turn into a job someday.
It's really cool to see how much art and entertainment is in Bellingham. I mean, you wouldn't see it maybe on the surface, but when you get them all in one room, it's a pretty active bunch.
We're getting people who really know what they want to do and are interested in doing it.
And as former alumni,
the one useful aspect of having something like this is that once you finish your degree, of like what's the next step that you can take to get involved, whether or not that's a full-time position or just a part-time volunteer aspect. It's always nice to have those resources available to say this is something you can do right now or once you graduate, but gives you kind of a path to take post-school.
Well, networking is making connections and talking to person A and asking for advice and suggestions and names of additional people to talk to, which leads to person B and maybe C and D, and then B and C and D fan out and have other suggestions. And you learn a lot along the way.
Sometimes it's about who can put the right resume in the right spot for you and give it that extra piece that nobody else has.
I definitely think it helps. Every single person I'm talking to, I'm getting a card and an email address so that I can send them a thank you email for talking to me today, and hopefully, if I do decide to apply there, I'll have an in and somebody who can vouch for me that I know how to carry a conversation.
I think it's really good to have referrals or people you know within the company, definitely, but I mean, talent trumps that most of the time. So if you're a talented individual and you have, can market yourself well, you'll probably be successful. I would say show up to events like this, check online, network, definitely get your LinkedIn profile up to speed and where it needs to be. And just keep an open mind. You're not always going to get your dream job, but sometimes there's a job out there that you apply to and you get, and it turns out to be your dream job.
The WWU Campus Equity and Inclusion Training Series is a university-wide initiative. Staff and faculty from across the university design, lead, and attend these workshops. And one recent workshop invited Western staff, faculty, and students to walk a mile in another's footsteps by picking up a spray can. By picking up a spray can. Oh, by picking up a spray can. Who is the co-chair of the President's Task Force of Diversity right here at Western. Today is the kickoff for the Campus Equity and Inclusion Forum. Nick, thanks so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Well, we had Michael Benitez Jr. in today. He was our keynote speaker, and he really got things off to a solid start. Talked to us a lot about intercultural communication. Now we're out here putting it to work through spray paint and graffiti.
Yeah, so we got all sorts of folks here. You got Sean Cass, is that his name? Is that correct?
Sean Cass,
so,
an alum.
Yeah, Sean Cass is an alum from Western, class of 2008, Huxley grad. He's working with anybody here at Western who actually wants to come in here and voice a little bit of their own self via spray paint.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys are aware of what the next activity is. It's basically, everyone's going to get a chance to grab a spray can and get a feel for painting on a wall with a spray paint can. Has anyone done this before? Okay.
Sean, what are we doing back here? We've got all sorts of graffiti. We've got cops around here, but nobody's getting arrested. Why are you on campus?
I'm here today to help facilitate this little free wall of expression, this little graffiti wall. We're giving a bunch of people a chance to try to play with spray paint for the first time. It's one of those mediums that's really difficult, so it's kind of funny and really amusing to see people trying to, taking a hand at doing some graffiti art for the first time. You're doing good, no drips. Whenever you do graffiti art, you go from the background forward, because you would want to do the white and then do the yellow on top of it, because it's going to be a lot harder to put the white in between all those lines.
Just kind of let it be.
But let's see where you get. It's the first time. You're doing good, no drips.
So we brought you here for the Campus Equity and Inclusion Forum on campus here at Western. Why is graffiti art so important to you?
Well, it's an uncontrolled form of expression. I think a lot of people don't have outlets to be able to express themselves, and a lot of times that results in people expressing themselves in illegal ways. But you know, graffiti art in itself is just a form of expression which could be used in a negative way or a positive way. And I'm definitely proud to be able to take something I love and really focus on the positive aspect of it. And you know, just it's fun, it's colorful, it brings a lot of life to the community, and just a lot of expression that from people that have a hard time finding ways to really be artistic and be creative and share their creativity with the community.
Sure. Well, you're a real talented graffiti artist. Really proud to have you back on campus. Proud to have you as an alum of Western, and glad to have you back.
Thank you very much.
Jensen and Lauren Carlson are two Western students participating in a sport that is not typically associated with their gender. In this segment, they talk about their experiences defying stereotypes and participating in the athletics they enjoy.
My name is Lewis Jensen. I'm a 22-year-old senior at Western, and I'm a stuntman on the Western shoe team. I think people have a stereotype that cheerleading is a girl's sport, and I mean they are kind of like the show. They're the ones being tossed up in the air, and we're on the ground kind of supporting them. But guys definitely bring another aspect to cheer that girls really can't. It just goes to show that you don't have to be one gender or the other to be in the sport.
Specifically for lifting, I don't really feel like it's something that is encouraged for girls, and that's just a limit in itself, really. I don't feel like maybe there's enough educated lifters to spread the word. I never would have thought I would have been able to pick up at least 2 plates on the bar from deadlifting or anything like that. I was always kind of the chubby girl, but if the chubby girl's got strength, I guess that made me feel so much better about my body image.
I did a little bit of stunting in high school because my oldest brother was a stuntman, but this is my first time being on an actual cheer team. I mean, there are obviously guys on cheer teams, but there's not a lot, so for me to be the only one is a little bit of a pressure, but I'm still gonna just give it my all. So
sometimes it's intimidating if you're the only girl in the weight room and there's a bunch of guys, because I feel okay, well, you know, what if my routine is off? What if I'm not doing enough volume or having enough weight, or my form is bad? I get a little nervous that way, but if I am the only girl, I'm okay, that's kind of an ego boost because there's nobody else in here of my gender. So that's kind of awesome. I have a 300-pound deadlift and a 265 squat and 135 bench. I don't really have, I have a couple people that I can lift with, and other girls, but girls aren't so into it. And it is kind of nice to have a little bit of a buddy. All the guys do, they sit in packs about 3 or 4, and they're all talking or and lifting at the same time, not to put them down, but I don't know, sometimes you're just in there alone. It's a little...
As I was hoping to have another guy on the team with me for cheer, just to kind of balance out the testosterone a little bit, but I did competitive gymnastics for 8 years, so I have a little bit of background there. Both my older brothers do gymnastics too, so it's just kind of aerobic fitness is kind of in the family, I guess you could say, so that's kind of stuff we like to do. So, like I said, my older brother was stuntman in high school, so it's my senior year and I thought I'd just finally give it a try.
I always did some floor sports, track, volleyball, and basketball growing up, and then towards my senior year I stopped doing those things in high school, and I gained a lot of weight, and I had a boyfriend at the time that told me that I was a little too heavy for his standards, so it kind of made me depressed, and I felt like, okay, I need to get into something to lose some weight, but I ended up really enjoying weightlifting and powerlifting, and so it kind of just stuck.
I know they needed guys, which is kind of one of the reasons why I tried out, but it's been fun. Everyone's been nice, been really connected. Amy Click is one of the captains, and she's been really good at like emailing everyone and keeping everyone in contact and kind of keeping everyone on track, so it's been good so far.
I've met so many males and females in the gym. Like before, 2 years ago when I came here, I was so nervous, but everybody's really open, and I've gained a lot of knowledge. So they've been able to give me hints on my form or injuries or on how to stretch a particular part of my body, things that I didn't know from your typical physical education in elementary school. I think it's overly seen as a male area. You can just see it with the media, girls that go running or Nike shorts and like let's go biking or spin class. But I mean, for like competitions and stuff, I know it's definitely fair because they changed the weights for females. I think more girls should definitely give it a whirl. For girls like me that can't do variable sports or they're vertically challenged.
Not just girls can be on the cheer team. Like it's a co-ed team, and so like the more guys, the better. Like it would be cool to have another guy on the team, but it's just me, so I'm gonna do it the best I can and try to show people that you don't have to be a girl to just be on the cheer team. Like they need guys too.
That's it for this episode of Western Window.
Be sure to tune in next time as we explore the world at and around Western Washington University.
Western Window is proud to partner with the following student publications. Clipson magazine is published twice each quarter and includes features, multimedia, and issues that affect lives across the greater Bellingham area. You can find it online at clipsonmagazine.com. The Western Front is the official newspaper of Western Washington University, published by the Student Publications Council and funded by your advertising dollars. The Western Front. Get it first, get it right at westernfrontonline.net. The Planet is Western Washington University's award-winning quarterly environmental publication and the only undergraduate environmental magazine in the United States. Explore The Planet online at planet.wwu.edu.